not jump to here, right? So let's go through the process. Topic, based on what you want to pick up topic. Now, this is my advice. You should never pick up a topic based on theory, based on any given theory, based on any given methodology, because that's really against the nature of doing things, right? You read, what's the method of production? You utilize and the rules, right? You should start with think about topic based on your own interest, right? Something very personal that guarantees the future. You can make great discovery. You cannot borrow theoretical concept and to invent a topic really deeply relevant to you. So topic, you have to personally love the topic. Love is the first. It's not the intelligence, right? And Chat uses this nice term to describe it. What is it? All you guys, Thesis proposal, hyper intellectuality. Okay, you try to elaborate, try to be so elaborate like super intellectual. It's completely wrong, because nothing personal. And but in reality, we're communicating not based on the other theory, right? We're communicating like human beings, right? You're worried about this, you are caring about this, then I can help on what, right? It's not about someone else writing. So you have to personally love the topic. That's really the first, right? It's like you're finding a date, right? A girlfriend, boyfriend. You cannot do this not without love, right? You cannot find a boyfriend, ideal boyfriend based on theory, any given theory, right? Any kind of intellectual discourse wouldn't help, right? Based on personal love. You're triggered, attracted, and inspired by it. You're dying to explore it. You must not pick up one unrelated to your own interest. You can take suggestion from some advisors, right? If that suggestion is coincident with your own interest, you can do that. But you should never feel forced to develop a topic that you're completely uninterested in. That will be really disaster in the end, I warn you. Okay, that's A. Second, this is very crucial. The topic must be related to the space, right? For the God's sake, we are school for architecture, right? The topic must be related to space, either architecture or city, right? In other words, it needs to have spatial implication in the first place. So many proposals turn the other way around. Years ago, someone said, "Oh, Tao, I'm interested in wine consumption in Hong Kong." I said, "Oh, I'm interested in drinking too. I drink after you graduate, but we need to do something architectural, right?" Unless the topic, you can immediately think about the connection with space. You shouldn't pick up that kind of topic. For example, there's many proposals inherently against space. For example, virtual reality, right? Facebook, Taobao, right? All these things, okay, they're great, but they're against architecture, right? Taobao is something about virtual network, right? You order from home, you deliver from somewhere at home, right? Unless you translate all these kind of gestures against space into some dialogue to space. Otherwise, if you cannot, hence, it needs to have spatial implication in the first place, hence the problem formulate can be mainly solved through your own spatial intervention in the end, right? That's very important, because if you you're talking about the problem completely irrelevant to spatial intervention. And Facebook is powerful, right? You link up the earth into one same virtual community. Now what can you do architecturally, urbanistically, right? If you cannot do that, that fundamentally against the nature of architecture thesis. Okay, so if you don't have that, right, you really feel harder to carry out your research later, especially toward the end. Okay, problem, the concept. Since you love the topic, right? As long as you love your topic, you love the topic so much, there must be reason, meaning, significance, right? If you fall in love with someone, right? Of course, in the first place, it's based on love, right? But secondly, you can analyze the reason and the meaning, significance. That's a process we call theorizing or conceptualizing. So, but that's not that shouldn't be you worried right now at all, right? That's the work to be done by teacher and you all together, right? So we'll work together to analyze them and develop a concept, all of them. I don't use the term of theory. It sounds very tedious. Oh, you need to have theory. Most of you are anguished. Oh, goddamn, I don't have any theory. I only have my own interest. I cannot speak like theoretically eloquent. That's the last problem we should worry about, right? Since the concept, right? Why I prefer to use concept. Since the concept sounds less intimidating, it's less scary, right? Than theory. But more importantly, concept we call spatial concept of space, right? That would have more connection toward design, right? Many theories, right, you read probably against design in the end, right? Social theory, philosophical theory, political theory. In the end, you might find the resolution is not laid in architecture design. It's in something else, like policy making, right? And if you are overly philosophical, like called true, right? Almost like no need to design, right? It's overly philosophical, overly kind of theoretical, not in the architectural sense, right? In the end, you kill yourself, right? You kill yourself. And okay, the third step, problem. With a lovely topic and clear concept, you need to identify, formulate a problem. Like the first, you have to love the topic. You have to love the topic, and we work out a very clear concept, or a few concepts, and it's not enough yet. You need to identify, formulate problems or a set of problems in its current condition. Based on that, you will and you should make your design intervention in the end, right? If the current condition, through your analysis, proves so powerful and so perfect, that there's no problem, like a Facebook again, and the Taobao again, right? And virtual reality, like a wine consumption, right? A global, capitalist market, whatever. You analyze such a profound system, and there's no spatial problem. And hence, no need for your design intervention. You kill yourself. Think about it. When you arrive at this stage, the third stage already, and there's no need for design, then you kill yourself, right? So be wise in the very beginning. So the concept, the interest of the concept, the interest of topic, and the concept about space, and the problem like it opens for your own intervention, right? In other words, sometimes during the research, very important, you have to invent a problem for you to design for, right? You should never actually develop the research and investigate in a system that leaves no problem for you to handle, or the problem like impossible to handle through architectural means, right? So try to avoid that. Then design. Often the case is that we spend too much time, energy theorizing through the process, or talking about the strategy for so long, and in the end, oh shit, only 2 weeks to do the design, and everyone is like panicking, and the most frustrating experience is that there's no clue how to design, how to carry out the design, and no basic scale, no enough time to really do design. Right? So be alert about that. Allow the design and discredits everything you have done before. No matter how well you've done research, and you cannot offer a design solution, and still the thesis is not kind of well wrapped up. good design with a powerful architectural language includes, right, through the seminar we talk about form, space, construction, all this language means, right, to synthesize, is capable of synthesizing most of the elements already embedded in the topic and concept, and offering both imaginative but still some grounded, right, resolution. This grounded in your research, right, in your conceptualization process. This ground. And the imaginative relies on your skill, right, sensibility. So offer that kind of resolution to the problem. You don't have to pretend that you solve the problem. Sometimes you can even make a very strong confrontation with the problem. Is also good enough, right? Okay, I give you one example. Zhu Tao, years ago, her thesis, he's very into this Tibetan culture. And the Dalai Lama has this annual ritual called the Wheel of Time. Right? So happens once a year. He will gather all these pilgrims and into a place. And they use the colored sand particles to assemble a symbol, mandala, right? And after about 10 days ritual, they would sweep and blur, as like blur the sand, cast the sand into river, right? That has deep kind of philosophical, religious meaning that the spatial hierarchical relationship, like cosmology, dominance, the order, the universe order, square, circle, and colors, all the things, right? But it's merely symbolic, right? One can argue that it's an illusion of space, but very hard to consider this as architectural, physical, 3D architectural space, right? It's either 2D, like graphic symbol, or something like beyond the 3D, like universe, right? Kind of virtual out there, right? And tend to struggle a lot, actually, how to translate this symbol to the real space, real architecture, right? And after all, what kind of a program? The thesis is very tough, actually. It's a fascinating topic, and how to develop it into a construction and architecture and the city. It's very tough. And in terms of a program, again, it's such a profound system. Why do you need an architect to do any design at all, right? Because all the pilgrims go there, they just erect temporal tents, right? They stay there for 10 days, and they leave, right? Everything's so well organized. Even the global travel, right? So well organized. And then she found that it's really hard to actually engage, to intervene, right? Well, finally, we spent a lot of time struggling. Finally, we found this, the physical thing, the sand, right? Forget about all this, the metaphors, symbolic meaning. The very physical thing, the sand. And she did an experiment on sand construction. How to use the sand particle. She read a lot of kind of research material. The sand has a kind of amazing property when you saturate, you dip the sand particle with the saturated salt water. So the particle of the crystal particle of the salt can interlock with the particle of sand, make an instantly very stabilized structure. And of course, it's temporary; it doesn't last so long. So then, in other words, let's say you do the sand. Let's say you do the sand. You spread the saturated salt water on the surface, and you dig out the sand. You can build up a shell, a temporary shelter, right? Only when we move all this problem to physical problem, spatial problem, construction space, and the city, and suddenly, wow, now we can do that. We can So basically, she designed the whole city with the sand construction, and based on Mandela's pattern, the geometry pattern, and with a lot of experiments with how to pour the sand, how to design, how to control the geometry of the shell, and how to dig out the sand to make a temporary shelter. And after 10 days ritual, open the water gate, the water submerged the whole thing, and everything disappeared, back to nothingness. By the way, the whole ritual indicates kind of a Tibetan Buddhist belief, right? Nothing lasts forever, but everything is recycling, right? The wheel of time. That's why everything is like ephemeral, right? You construct this elaborate pattern, you wash away. So all disappears back to nature, nothing lasts, right? So the temporary architecture urbanism is also derived from that tradition, but utilizing a very advanced computer technology to map out the surface geometry. I don't have the model in my office, so even use 3D printing to really translate the geometry into 3D form, right? In the end, you get nothing. You get everything, right? Tradition, symbolism, space, construction, and digital technology, 3D printing. That's something you actively go out, and finally you have to really land it on something physical and spatial. I hate the word like a methodology mapping because essentially everything is about everything, right? You would always, when you do design, you always have to do mapping, right? You always have to do making. What is the third one?
Mediating.
You always have to mediate, right? Because essentially everyone can fit into any diagram, a group. But I would say mapping, we have to use the word mapping really about whatever scale of design, you map out existing information, you formulate the problem, and through the constant editing, you map out a solution. For the city, or for like Tianchu's place, for a small construction to a city space, right? The mapping essentially is a continuous process of collecting information and digesting by yourself and looking for solution, right? It's a very natural process. Again, right? Don't be really intimidated in the beginning, like theorization and the intellectual discourse. Really go back. The topic you love, right? And the concept that derived from the spatial concept derived from the topic. And to define formulate the problem that wait for your design as solution, right? That actually natural organic flow. That's it. Okay. To reduce the worry, the burden about this in this stage, and to really think about something personal and interesting. Like, I have friends, like I have students coming. We used to have all this interesting conversation. Like one student said, "I love circus. It's amazing kind of a phenomenon, like circus out of a blue suddenly drop to middle of nowhere and constantly build up a paradise, right? I just love that kind of phenomenon of circus. Then I would say, let's do a thesis to design contemporary circus. And someone said, oh, just quoted one sentence from a novel, beautiful novel. The single sentence really generated the whole thesis. Right? The writer said, I love the experience of sitting on the second floor of the Hong Kong, the double deck bus, right? The sense of a floating balcony, right? Drifting through Hong Kong street. That's enough, right? And later we call it the drifting center. The whole thing is about drifting through urban space, right? Something really poetic, personal, and touching. And based on that, it's really enough to generate the whole thesis, right? You don't need to pile up all these theoretical books and texts to justify something super abstract. like the global capitalist system, the late kind of capitalist stage economy, and the endless fragmentation of space. They're too impersonal, right? They're all kind of jargons from textbook. You really need to, based on your personal experience, to find something personal, right? Then you can open up, really kind of engage in theory. Otherwise, I'm also sure the supervisor very hard to help you, because we're talking about something essentially beyond we two as human beings, right? Some abstract concept, and already established by some other based on their own very specific context. Very hard to engage with dialogue, into dialogue right now, right? Okay, start with personal topic. Okay, that's it.